Hi everyone, and welcome back to my reaction video. I appreciate you stopping by. And today the song we're going to check out is Celtic Frost, Circle of the Tyrants. And being a metal fan for a few years now, Celtic Frost is definitely a band name I've seen quite a lot within the metal communities and metal discussions, but somehow I don't think I've ever heard a Celtic Frost song. Even though I think they have the kind of an iconic status with how often I've seen their name before. But honestly, I don't think I've ever sat down and heard a Celtic Frost song before. Maybe I've heard one or two in passing before, but I've never actually looked up an actual Celtic Frost song and wanted to listen to it. So today will be that day where I want to check out some more of their catalog. I think this is one of the more popular songs. At least I think this got recommended to me through YouTube, and it did seem to be one of their more popular songs. So Circle of the Tyrants is going to be my introduction into the band Celtic Frost. I'm not sure what to expect. I just saw they were from Switzerland. I don't know many metal bands from Switzerland, so maybe they'll bring over a unique sound or something. But yeah, anyways, hope you guys enjoy listening to this with me. And in the words of Jeff Walker, let's rock. That guitar tone sounds like 80s. That mosh pit though. Oh, that's fast. Okay, I'm just gonna pause right here before I get to the next section. Interesting so far. So far they're kind of reminding me more of kind of thrash metal-esque. Like the riffs kind of, especially that fast section in the beginning, definitely very thrash metal adjacent. And then the vocals, he kind of has an interesting vocal style. I feel like he kind of stretches out some of the words near the end of a vocal line. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Paul Bailoff a little bit from Exodus. I'm not talking about the actual voice, but the way he kind of stretches out some of the words or sings, not the actual, vocal tone of Paul Bailoff. But let me listen to some of that again. Very heavy so far though. That riff and the drums, they're so unpacked with each other. It's such a tight guitar riff with the drums. This is my first time hearing a Celtic Frost song, but I noticed the vocalist really likes to do these vocal, but he has a near the end of a line or kind of near the transition to a next section, I guess to kind of accentuate it. I definitely hear other vocalists do in the past, I can't remember any specific songs, but maybe I think Max Cavalera might do them in some Sepultura songs, or maybe the lead vocalist from Entombed, or let me think who else. I can't think of any specific songs right now, but I've always appreciate when vocalists do that. It's just a very primal and feral way to really get you in the mood for the next really heavy section, or as a really nice transition, and I think that kind of primal energy that when you do the actual guttural vocal of doing that sound, it kind of transfers to the listener as well. But yeah, this is my first time hearing a Celtic Frost song, and I haven't even finished listening to the whole song yet. But one of the first things that I noticed or kind of stands out to me is that fact that he does those vocal grunts quite a bit. And maybe that is part of their signature sound. It definitely gives a uniqueness factor to the vocals as well. So let's continue though. There it is again. Oh, those drum fills were really nice. Yeah, I like those drum fills. There it is again. The Oh wow, that solo. Oh, that was a very interesting solo. Not the typical kind of solo you hear in these kind of metal songs. It's a solo that kind of relies heavily on like string noise and guitar feedback in a way. Let me listen to that again. Very unconventional guitar solo for sure. Wow, that is so weird. That beginning technique is kind of similar to like tapping, two-handed tapping. Is definitely not plucking, but it's not the same because he's not actually like tapping particular notes, but he's kind of just using his thumb, I feel like, to do slides on the guitar. And then he's kind of letting that string noise kind of play out a lot. So it sounds very chaotic, right? Yeah, look at that. Oh, he's not doing slides. I think he's kind of like using his thumb and bouncing around on the fretboard. That's interesting. Very interesting sound. Yeah, and then he's kind of using his actual guitar as the vibrato rather than moving his like finger individually. He's kind of like shaking his actual guitar to also achieve some vibrato. And that kind of adds like more chaotic vibrato, at least in my experience, when you're moving your guitar around a lot and just letting the kind of letting the kind of distortion take over. You get that very like guitar feedback kind of sound when you're moving your guitar around physically. Yeah, look, he's shaking his actual guitar. And there again. Yeah, he's doing a kind of like tapping with his pick, but it doesn't sound like traditional tapping you might hear in another guitar solo. Like the technique looks similar to what maybe like Kirk Hamm is doing in the one guitar solo, right? But it just sounds completely different. Like it sounds way more chaotic and way more like guitar string noisy in a way, if you know what I mean. Very unique guitar solo. Oh, that's a nice riff too. That was a nice heavy last few minutes too. It kind of feels like they split up the song into two sections. You got the very fast like thrash metal riffs in the first section, the first half, and then you go into the second half where you kind of transitions with the vocal grunts, right, into that transition. Then you kind of have a very slow rest of the song, or not very slow, but like slow compared to the first half, right? In general, much more like groovy in the second half, as opposed to like the thrash metal sound of the first half. But yeah, overall, very nice metal song to listen to. You can either go for like the, if you want to listen to some very fast thrash metal and headbanging, you got that in the first section, and then you also have other parts of the song where it's like slow and you can also headbang to those as well and groovy, you know. Um, yeah, very like it sounds like it came from the 80s. I don't know the exact date this was released, but it sounds like it came from the 80s with like a guitar tone and overall the overall riffs and everything, and the overall songwriting and riffs. But yeah, also like I mentioned before, the vocals are definitely like one of the things that stand out to me. The way he kind of does those like vocal fills, those very brief vocal fills. It's kind of unique in that there are other bands that do it, but a lot of guttural vocalists, at least from death metal that I listen to, opt for the more like long and sustained kind of gutturals when they're kind of transitioning. Like think about vocalists like Chuck Schuldiner on Spiritual Healing, right? He does those long guttural vocals to kind of transition. Or you also got vocalists like Martin Van Drunen on Pestilence's Consuming Impulse, where he also does those like long drawn out gutturals, which I also love as well. But I think these vocals are more unique in the fact that they're very short and brief, right? But yeah, that's my reaction to Celtic Frost, Circle of the Tyrants. If you guys have any more songs that you'd like to recommend from this band, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. And I appreciate you watching this video.